Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe has hit out at the Home Office Minister Dame Angela Eagle after her department failed to publish stats on crimes committed by illegal migrants. Well, he's written to her today, accusing her of misleading Parliament following his exchange in the House of Commons earlier this month.
I've been told by her department in response to a written question that the number of crimes committed by illegal migrants is not available through published statistics. I'm sure that the Home Office does hold the data, so would the Minister today commit to publishing that information in full?
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, there's a huge statistical drop of immigration-related national statistics coming at the end of this week.
Right, well, now it's emerged that they're not going to do that. And I'm delighted to be joined now by the Reform UK MP, Rupert Lowe. Rupert, thank you very much. Do you feel lied to? And if so, why? Is there a great big immigration crime cover-up going on here?
Well, I think you can judge for yourself, Patrick. First of all, I hope the honeymoon went well. That's a very important part of life, isn't it? No, I mean, judge for yourselves. I asked a question. As an MP, I think the sovereignty of Parliament requires a minister to answer the question honestly. And she could have said she didn't have the data. She didn't say that. She said there would be a huge statistical dump of information, which sort of indicates that she was going to release it at the end of last week, which she hasn't done. So I think she has misled Parliament. And as you can see, I've written the letter. But the point about this is I've worked out that we can ask 20 questions a day. They're all, they're all going to be on the parliamentary website under my name. I think we've asked a total of 470 or around that so far. And we're getting answers back. Sometimes they don't answer them. Sometimes we have to drill in sort of horizontally to try and get at the data. So the data isn't that available. And I think the most important point is that in a democracy like ours, the government is the servant of the people. So the people are effectively the boss and the government is the servant. And through their vote, they elect them. And what they should be doing is giving transparent information to the British electorate who are paying their taxes, who are living honestly and legally, abiding by the law and doing everything that's required of them in terms of being good citizens. So when people come here illegally, my view is quite clear. If they come here illegally, they should be deported. They should be detained and deported. They should not be distributed across the country. As you know, the Telegraph picked up on an old question about the amount of reoffences that take place from foreign criminals. We've got 10,500 foreign criminals in our prison system at the moment. Again, I would deport them. I think they should go straight away. The actual reoffence rate is huge, and it's a minority of them who are reoffending on more than one occasion.
Do you think, because the Tories were guilty of this as well, and I know this because I submitted FOIs, we offered to pay for them to actually use the manpower to find out all the data and give us all the data, and they refused to let us pay for that. So both Labour and the Tories have been guilty of this. Do you think that there's a chance here that they're sitting on this information because they don't want to stoke racial tensions?
I don't think there's any question about it, Patrick. I think my view is the British people should be given the transparent data and they can judge for themselves. Again, this evening, another question we got an answer back to that you'll be interested in is, it's Home Office policy not to inform local communities if illegal migrants are going to be settled back in their communities. Again, these are law-abiding, decent communities with, community-spirited bodies that basically care about their community. You can't just dump illegal migrants in the middle of that community without telling them. I mean, that's extraordinary.
Let's just emphasise that, Rupert. Let's just emphasise that. So you had it confirmed today that it is Home Office policy to not tell local people if they are going to put a load of illegal migrants in their town or village.
Correct. That was the answer to the question. It's on Twitter. I've tweeted it. So ultimately, we're getting a load of this stuff back, Patrick, and all I would say is really they should be respecting the sovereignty of Parliament. They should be delivering answers to questions asked by MPs who are supposed to be, under our Constitution, ultimately, the people running the country. The problem is we've been undermined by all these quangos that have come along since Tony Blair's Human Rights Act and Equality Act, who have undermined the sovereignty of Parliament and meant that there are people who aren't accountable to the British electorate making decisions on behalf of the electorate. So I have absolutely no doubt that the information, and as we get this information, it's becoming clear that illegal migrants should be deported straight away, detained and deported, not put across the country and damage, to damage our communities.
Yeah.
After all, they're being paid for by the British taxpayer.
Well, this is it. Look, this is it. And, a lot of this actually is a continuation of what the Tories were doing. In fact, pretty much all of it.
The Tories are just as guilty. The Tories are just as guilty.
Yeah, not telling communities.
He said he was going to stop this, and he has singularly failed to do it. 20,000 migrants now on his watch, illegal migrants.
People could be forgiven, Rupert. People could be forgiven, Rupert, I think, for wondering whether or not there is some kind of cover-up going on here. The legal migration figures are always rounded up, and they're rounded up in a way that allows it to look like when they have the next round of migration figures, we can go, oh, there's been a 20% drop. Well, there hasn't, because you just rounded the last lot up by 300,000. Then you've got this issue of, well, why are we not being told the amount of crimes that illegal migrants are committing? Why are we not telling local communities when there's going to be a migrant hotel? It does smack of some kind of cover-up. Obviously, people would deny that there is a cover-up. But, Rupert, very quickly, and I'm sorry to throw this at you, but it has just landed in my lap, quite literally. It's in The Guardian tomorrow, and this is talks over a return of the Elgin marbles to the Greeks are well advanced. Apparently, Keir Starmer is in advanced talks with the Greeks now to actually hand the Elgin marbles back. What do you think of that?
Well, I think he's rapidly getting the nickname of a surrender monkey, isn't he, Patrick? I mean, I honestly, with the Chagos Islands, where clearly the new administration does not support what Biden's saying, a man who, by the way, just pardoned his son, having said he wouldn't, which is quite extraordinary in itself. So I think it's sort of, the British people won't like that. I mean, it's like the Chagos Islands. It's like all the things that seem to be happening under Labour. They don't seem to respect the British taxpayer, the sovereignty of this country, and effectively the long-term security of our people. So it's no wonder you've got nearly 3 million people in that poll expressing their concern about Keir Starmer and his government.